I feel the liftoff. The clock has started.
Greetings and felicitations, my perceptive purple people, and thanks for joining me again today. Today, we're going to be discussing a little more about the environmental aspects of nationally committing to bringing a significantly sized asteroid into Earth orbit for a variety of functions, not the least of which is mining it for resources. First, some caveats to consider. The addition of another satellite or more in orbit could have potential impact on Earth's tides from the additional gravity sources, and certain lunar-based animal behaviors could be affected by an additional moonlet or two shining in the night sky. These possibilities would have to be considered and mitigated to whatever degree possible. Some immediate good news on that front is that the gravitational impacts from the initial asteroids should be negligible due to their extremely small sizes. We would only have to be concerned if we started bringing in larger bodies with masses getting towards dwarf planet sizes on that front. Even so, a body the size of a dwarf planet, say Ceres, which is far, far larger than would be considered as a candidate for this, has only a fraction of the gravitational pull of our moon. So this is clearly not as big of a boogeyman as it starts out as. Much the same with concerns with electromagnetic interferences that could occur with our scaled, furry, and feathered friends sharing our planet from the additional mass in our little system. Any potential magnetic effects must be considered and mitigated. As in the last case, the asteroids involved are far too small for this to be huge concerns, but it still must be part of our considerations nonetheless. Then, of course, is the big one. The potential for a huge environmental catastrophe if we do this wrong and end up with a planet-killing asteroid heading uncontrolled towards us. This is actually a very reasonable concern when bouncing celestial bodies about the solar system, and it must be very carefully calculated to the literal 0-degree chance of having that happen. As an immediate possible mitigation, I would suggest a few proof-of-concept asteroids of much lesser mass that would not pose any significant threat for practice before the big show to iron out any difficulties in advance before bringing the larger one into orbit. Well, wasn't all that depressing? I wouldn't get too worried though. These are all mitigable. We merely need to note them at this time so that we can make sure to work on having solutions prepared when the time comes. Obviously, a few studies will be in order before we actually begin doing anything on this. So, with all the scary stuff considered, let's look at a few environmental positives. Right off the bat, I would point out the obvious benefits of having a lot of rare earth mining being taken off the planet, having a significant positive impact worthy of immediate consideration. Much damage to our fair earth could be rendered as unnecessary and even quaint with a nearly endless supply of materials mined off-world. As another option that we don't currently have available, having an asteroid in orbit can help us to clean up a lot of the dangerous space junk clutter that we have in orbit. How? I'll get into more on that one in the scientific segment after this next one. The point for this segment is that the available heavy metals mass allows for new ways to tackle the space trash problem on a permanent basis. There's less need to transport up materials for construction, means less pollution from certain rocket fuels. Enough said there. There's been talk of various shade-based methods of dealing with climate change. These methods all use one form or another of using a type of thin shade material to block some or all the solar radiation in either a given area or even the entire planet itself. Now, if one of these methods turns out to be reasonably efficient in helping to solve this crisis, having the materials already in space to build it with would certainly speed up construction and subsequently deployment dramatically, now wouldn't it? Heck, the asteroid, now moonlet, might even be able to be used for that purpose directly. Obviously, one cannot completely list all of the potential benefits to our environment from this, but you're getting the idea. In the next segment, we'll talk about some of the political possibilities that could come from this. Join us again, won't you please?